The day has finally come. The world is good again. Let's freaking go. Well. Good Monday morning to all of you guys out there, wherever you guys may be, to all the people that are tuning in from the East Coast. Happy Monday afternoon. To the people on the West Coast, happy Monday morning. My name is Isaiah Leog, and welcome into the Asian Skip Bayless Show, aka the Midnight Express. I can't call it Midnight Express because it's not midnight, but welcome into the Asian Skip Bayless Show here on this glorious Monday morning. And man, what a Monday it is, right? We got a lot of stuff that have transpired already. I mean, the weekend was tremendous with all the Game 7s that happened, all the great endings, the great baseball that happened. And then you have firings, you got, big news in the sports media world. And then you look at what's going to happen the rest of this week. I mean, you got the NHL draft lottery, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and why you should tune into that. But we're going to talk a little bit about not sports in this conversation, but we're going to talk about some of the sports business side of like the sports world. As we during this show, if you have any questions or comments, you want to say about, feel free to comment down below. We'll read it live on the air. If you want to, jump in and have your voice heard, there is a link down below, in the comment section. Feel free to click on it, and then I'll add you into the stream. Please no vulgar language if you do join the stream. That would be really appreciated. We do want to keep it short, as I gotta head back to work in a little bit, but all right, let's get into it, guys. The big news in the sports world. It ain't the Game 7s. It ain't Jamal Mosley getting fired. The big news in the sports world, ladies and gentlemen, is Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, according to Front Office Sports, are reuniting for a show on First Take on this upcoming Friday. Yes, you read that right. Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless are reuniting for a show on First Take this upcoming Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is good again. Peace has come to the world. Everything's all right. This has been what we've wanted for the last 10 freaking years. You may say, oh, I didn't want this. I didn't want that. You're lying. You have inside your heart, I know damn well you have wanted this to happen. And here we go, y'all. Stephen A. and Skip, the two titans of the sports media world, just like I will be one day, are reuniting, man. This is going to be epic. I can't wait. Like I said, I've been waiting and wanting this to happen for a very, very long time. Stephen A. and Skip were my childhood. I mean, I remember every freaking morning when I would wake up, I would have breakfast, and, the shows would happen early in the morning. So I would tune in and just watch these two go at it. And it was just like amazing, epic television. You can argue that these two were better than Mike and the Mad Dog. I know the old generation is going to say Mike and the Mad Dog was better, yada, yada, yada. But you got the Skip and his ability to go bold, right? And believe and have conviction in the bold takes. And then you got Stephen A. and his bravado that he brought to the table. I mean, it was a great match. And you can't say you didn't look forward to every time the Cowboys lost or every time the Cowboys won, every Monday morning. That would be the gold moment of television. I mean, it was epic. And so when Skip Bayless left, I've never really shedded a tear or been really heartbroken over a lot of sports stuff in my life, but I will say this. When Skip Bayless announced he was leaving ESPN First Take, that was one of the hardest moments of my life because I really love the show. I hope that show went on for 10 more years, 20 more years, 30 more years, heck, to the rest of my life. But unfortunately, it didn't. And, I liked Max Kellerman on First Take. I liked Stephen A. Smith with Max. I thought Max brought some points, but Max could sadly never achieve the level of greatness that was Skip. Like, Max was great, don't get me wrong, but Max was more of a guy that didn't really throw out bold hot takes. He was a guy that had his point, and he would debate it well, but he just never could come close to Skip in terms of I believe that this bold take is going to happen. That just wasn't Max. And so Shannon and Skip, those were good. But Shannon quite could not bring the type of bravado that Stephen A. Smith brought to the world. So with them, it was always Stephen A. and Skip, just like Mike and the Mad Dog. You can't replace Mike. You can't replace the Mad Dog with someone else. It's just the perfect combination. So Stephen A. and Skip coming back together. Let's freaking go, man. The world has waited 10 years for this. Every time, Skip would be a free agent or Skip would have some stuff happen to him that would cause him to be released. I've been wanting Stephen A. and Smith, please, Stephen A. Smith and Skip to get back together. Please, please, please. Or Stephen A. be a free agent. I'm like, man, can Stephen A. go to FS1? Can Stephen A. maybe go to FS1? Maybe go to FS1 and reunite with Skip? Never happened. But until now, baby, those two coming back together. Let's freaking go. And, some people will be saying oh, this is a one-time show. Connect the dots, world. Connect the freaking dots. That's what sports is, and even sports media is. It's about connecting the dots. This is like a trial run, okay? They're trying to see how the ratings are. Are these two going to have the same magic as they did in the old days? Is it going to be ratings galore like it did in the old days? And I guarantee you, if it's a hit, guess what? It's going to be like Michael Irvin on First Take after Cowboys games on Monday. Skip is going to have his day. Maybe they'll bring Shannon back. I don't know. But, I mean, the wheels are in motion for these two to eventually do the right thing and get back together. That's what I think is going to happen. One last thing, as we do have someone waiting in the backdrop, I do want to say this. The thing with First Take is I've never really agreed and liked the idea of it being Stephen A. versus the world. I think just having one person just debating Stephen A. would be better than having it be Stephen A. versus the world. That's why I think the ratings for First Take is honestly going down because being honest, Stephen A., you have one day being this person, one day being that person, one day being that person. It's just, in my opinion, I just don't like that. I really don't like that. No disrespect to some of the casting characters that have appeared there. Dan Orlovsky is very good. Mina Kimes is tremendous at her job. She knows a lot of football. Mad Dog is very entertaining, yelling and doing all that type of stuff. I think they had Mike Francesca there at one point. But it's just not entertaining as it once was, with Skip and Stephen A., of course, and then even Max and Stephen A. So hopefully they bring Skip back full time. If not, maybe have him for one day, maybe bring Shannon in, maybe then have Mad Dog and then bring in, I don't know, you bring in someone else, Mike Francesca for one day, who knows. But here we are. My guy Callan McClurk is in the background. Oh God. Do I really need to be roasted on this Monday morning? Do I really need to be roasted? But I'm going to add him to the conversation. Callan, what's up? How are you doing on this Monday morning?
Media titan, and you're not even in the industry. Really? That's how you start the show.
What's going on, man? How's life?
Answer the question. Really?
What's the question?
You, media titan, you're not even in the industry? I am? Come on now.
I said future. I did say future. You got to give me that.
Yeah, you don't have credentials to stand on, sir.
But speaking of a titan in the sports media field, we do have you, who's a current titan in the sports media business. He's been in the business for what, 15 years, 20 years?
Don't be
Um,
shortchanging me, sir. It's 18.
eight. Hey, I long changed you. What do you mean? I gave
No.
you 20 years. Um, but Callan does a show on another network called not Front Office Sports. Good lord, it's too early. What's Press Row? That's right, Press Row. Had a little bit of a brain fart there. Well, since we have an expert opinion on this, Callan, what is your thoughts on Stephen A. and Skip Bayless reuniting for what they're calling it a one-time show? Although I don't think it's going to be. But what do you think about it? And do you think it's just like a desperate, like Hail Mary for First Take to try to get ratings back? As you know, I don't know if you saw, but ESPN did a quarterly report, and McAfee's show and I think Get Up did beat First Take in terms of like ratings draw for the first time in quite a number of years.
Yeah, I think you made a couple of decent points, though, that I think you're right that when you have a revolving door of people taking on Stephen A., it loses its luster. And I always say, and I think you know well that I've said in the time that I've known you, I don't get up at 7 a.m. to listen to people yell about the sports world Monday through Friday, because that's just not how that's the last thing I want to have happen, is to literally get up, unintended, and be watching people yelling and screaming and kicking and bitching and moaning. But I do think that when ESPN lost Skip, Shannon was just as good, maybe a little bit better when it came to certain things. But then I also think, Isaiah, much like you and me, when Max Kellerman comes in, you bring in the smart one, that'd be me, to face somebody like you or Stephen A. And you always are getting, your brains beat in because I'm right, you're always wrong, 9 times out of 10. And when Stephen A., though, as we know, has so much damn power, executive producer power over First Take, much like you, I don't need McClurg here anymore. Get rid of him. I don't need Kellerman here anymore. Get rid of him, because it's supposed to be me beating everybody else, which doesn't obviously happen all the time, as you would know over the last 6 years with you and me. But long story short, though, it'll be a cool one-time thing. But I think that the glory days of First Take have been long gone. And I think, and I wouldn't even say it's because that McAfee's like the new big hot take giver, or that Get Up is this or whatnot. I just wonder, though, how much, though, Isaiah, that the morning debate program, like First Take, like even some other things that we've seen, or that they've tried to do, does that format still work nowadays in the current climate that we're in 2026 when it comes to consuming content? Is it too over the top now? Is it too much in your face? Is it other factors out there where, I mean, I'll tell you what, though, when I saw Skip Bayless on Underdog talking about, I forgot what the thing was in the NFL, but I mean, he looked like he had aged like 10 years in that time. Like, he looked really not lethargic, but just like looking at him like, this is not the same Skip Bayless I recall watching on ESPN. Like, has he lost his fastball in a way? Has he, deviated maybe away from ESPN now? Where I think, as it was a lot, though, a lot more people now want to make that pivot solely to digital content, as we have tried to do in our own way here, either with me on Into the Bench or whatever it might be. That more people that want to get their voice out there pivot their platforms, and I think that's kind of where things have gone now. Maybe you would agree that you probably, and I think that we all have said this. I think myself and Nick Morgus and my co say the same thing. Nowadays, you don't really need to be on ESPN or FS1 to get your thoughts out there, because now you've got a phone like you and I have right now. You've got a computer. All you got to do is go live somewhere, as you know very well, and you can get those thoughts out there, though people never agree with what you say 9 times out of 10, as you would know very well. But that's where I think Skip Bayless coming back on Friday, maybe to your point, could this be something? I don't believe it will be, because I think Skip is totally fine with what he's doing with Underdog. I think, and I also think that Stephen A. wants to get more people's voices amplified, as you should have been doing on other platforms back in the day, to get more people involved and get more people their due, and not kick them to the curb, as you did with me for the last 6 years. But that's what I think that Stephen A missed a lot of years ago. Now I think he's doing a better job of getting Mina Kimes more exposure, Dan Orlovsky more exposure. You know, even Mad Dog Russo at his age getting exposure. The couple times they had Mike Francesca join, that you're getting more people that deserve their, you know, not deserve right, but deserve their shot, I should say, to get their, you know, name up in lights, like Orlovsky and even Mina Kimes. So I think, you know, I love Mina Kimes. I don't care for the NFL, as you know very well, but you get that great analysis from her though on NFL Live or on her own show on ESPN. But I do think though, Isaiah, but sadly right now for ESPN, they are trying, I think, to save First Take, because I do think McAfee has overtaken Stephen A. I think that Get Up in a way has kind of done so. And I also think, though, Isaiah, I wonder mainly more about, is Stephen A. Smith overworking himself? Because I think he's got First Take. He had NBA content. He's got his, you know, political show on POTUS. He's got a sports show on Mad Dog Radio, too. Like, are you all of a sudden now, Stephen A., going from being the biggest paid guy on ESPN to now, are you in a way stretching yourself too thin? As I think you've experienced it, I've experienced it though, when you do so many things at one given time that you don't give yourself a chance to breathe and recoup. That's where I wonder though, Isaiah, how much, as you said though, is this raking and smelling of desperation on ESPN's part? Mainly, I think, to save First Take. Because I think if they somehow lost that station, or lost that show, I should say, they'd be shit out of luck, I think, if you ask me. But it'll be cool for the one day, though, but I don't know if they can sustain that for a full 5 days out of the weekend. Because I just think, mainly, as I said, though, I was really alarmed about Skip's condition when I saw him do some stuff for Underdog Fantasy a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, I doubt that they're going to do 5 days, just because, like you said, I don't know if Skip can handle the rigor of it. And also,
if they were to do, like, say, like once a month thing or once every few weeks, then I would be fine with it, but not 5 days in a row.
I could see it like this, Callan. Like, I could honestly see where Skip reprises the Michael Irvin role, where, like, last year or 2 years ago, where after every NFL Sunday, he just comes on because, you know, Stephen A. likes mocking the Cowboys. Skip likes defending the Cowboys. And I could see it being like, hey, let's bring back the glory days, but just every Monday, because Stephen A. still likes to have, like, the revolving host, which I am not. Like I've told you in the past, I do not like that idea. I think he needs one guy and one guy only to debate him. But I think that that's probably what they're going to do. I think this is just like a trial run type of a thing. But yeah, you're right. I think this is a desperate move by ESPN. Like it's not a coincidence that this happens literally a few days after ESPN released their quarterly report that saw the McAfee show and Get Up beat First Take in terms of ratings. Like, this is not a coincidence. This is,
and now all of a sudden ESPN's in panic mode.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I think, like, this is, I mean, I think I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely get up on Friday. You know me, I don't get up if it's not an emergency. I'm not getting up until like 11 or 12 to start my day.
Both. You and me both.
But definitely on Friday, I'm definitely going to get up for this. But I think also in a broad sense, like, I think the problem with ESPN is, you know, a lot of people can say they've gone too political. I think ESPN is honestly, like, just overtouched some things in a way, and meaning this. In terms of their NBA coverage, I don't know what in the world, why they decided to take away that iconic NBA on ABC ESPN theme song, when that is one of the most iconic intro outro songs in all of sports. Like, and you replace it, not only you get rid of it, but you replace it with one that is just so, like, I don't know how to say the word, but it's just so, like, it doesn't get you hyped for a game. Like, you listen to the one right now that gets you into Mike Breen and Tim Legler and Richard Jefferson. That seems like a preseason game, or that seems like, sadly, like you're trying to get me into a professional bowling league type of a game. No disrespect, but, like, that doesn't get me hyped up for the NBA playoffs or get me hyped up for a potential NBA Finals game. It just really doesn't. So, like, I just think that Like that's another example of ESPN overstepping a lot of boundaries and touching things that you don't really have to touch or get rid of. Like I do understand, like getting inside the NBA to be a part of their pre and post. That's great. Like that was much needed to revamp their NBA coverage. But getting rid of that song, like really, like that got people hyped up. That got people ready for the game. And then when Mike Breen would close out the broadcast, that got people, hyped up for the next game as well. Like it's like, would Round Ball Rock ever leave NBC? There's no way NBC would.
Yeah, but they had a full-fledged legal battle about that though.
About Round Ball Rock?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like NBC would never be the same if they got rid of Round Ball Rock, like in my opinion. But I just think like with ESPN, it's like it's not just that people have stopped listening to like, people shouting at each other and things like that. I think that there's a lot of issues. I think that ESPN, with Stephen A, it's always when a black coach gets fired. Oh yeah, like it's because of the guy's black or whatever. Like it's just not really true, authentic takes in my opinion. And also like I just feel like ESPN sadly has just overstepped a lot of its boundaries and removed a lot of things that you really didn't really need to remove, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think though that ESPN, they dropped the ball on other things though too, not just with the NBA, them botching the whole baseball deal, 3 years before it was going to end. And now they're only doing like select weekday games in the middle of the week, for example. That was one thing. The conclusion of Around the Horn after 23 years on ESPN, around this time last year, I think, where that 2 p.m. time slot out here has not recovered. And all that's left now for afternoon entertainment or coverage is PTI until SportsCenter comes on at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock Pacific time or what have you. So I think that not just with what they've done with NBA coverage, though, Isaiah, but other places, though, too, botching the whole baseball contract, dropping Around the Horn after 23 years, whether the format worked or didn't work, who really knows. But, that program never had any issues with ratings, none of that stuff, though. So I think it's just more so just other factors, as you were alluding to, that ESPN has just, yeah, I think I would agree, though, that they have overstepped their boundary on, crossing that line in the sand, though, on a couple of things.
I do agree with. Thanks for bringing up that point of Around the Horn. Like Around the Horn being removed, that's like you never should have gotten rid of it. There's no problem whatsoever with that show. It's like the thing with the song. Like there's nobody had any issues with that. So like, why are you trying to get rid of something that actually made your production golden instead of like making it the way it is right now? But I do like what they've done recently with getting Rich Eisen. I think that will really help. I do like Rich Eisen. Yeah. But I do think Rich Eisen, he should be on like regular ESPN instead of, adding him to ESPN radio definitely helps the radio side of things, but that's huge. And then, ESPN definitely proving their powers again by adding, Ian Rappaport with Adam Schefter, Peter Schrager, like that I think also proves that ESPN is still the titan it is. But yeah, I want to know, what do you guys think? The fans think. What do you guys think about Stephen A and Skip reuniting? Is this going to be just a one-time thing? Or do you guys think that this is going to be something that potentially could be a thing moving forward, whether it's once a day or once a week or maybe 5 days a week? Who knows? But Callan, jumping out of ESPN to another big thing that's kind of happening in the sports business world. That is the NHL draft lottery happening tomorrow night. I believe 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Listen, I think, as much as I have kind of ridiculed the NHL over the number of years that I've known you, even though I've been a prominent hockey fan in the last couple of years. But I do want to give the NHL a lot of credit. I watched the NHL draft lottery last year, and I found it to be one of the most fascinating things ever because they do the ping pong drawing live on television for all to see. I think that's what the NBA should do. But I doubt.
Well,
I
well,
doubt.
also Isaiah, you don't have
Yeah.
the you don't have the NHL having to change the lottery format because the NBA is trying to combat tanking with whatever they're trying to do now with their own draft, which I think is stupid.
Right, right. But I do love what the NHL has done. I think that the NHL is definitely showing the rest of the leagues. Like, if you're gonna do a lottery, that's how you should do it. Like, you should do a for all the world to see the ping pong ball drawing. Like, I don't know how, Callan, last year, I literally was on edge for the third, like, for the entire ping pong ball drawing, like from the first ping pong ball to the second one when the Sharks had the best odds to get the number one overall pick, to the third one when ultimately the spear hit our hearts and we got, knocked down from like having the top odds to, I think, the third best odds or whatever it was. But that brought intrigue. That brought fascination. That was amazing what the NHL did last year. And I'm definitely going to tune in because when you think about the lottery, like they show it right to you how the ping pong balls are dropped and how the odds shift from one ball to the second one to the third one to the fourth one. It's one of the most fascinating things. I recommend all of you guys to tune in for that.
And more importantly, if a team in the playoffs somehow wins the lottery, they redo the whole damn process.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think with the NHL draft lottery is it's really unpredictable because you have like last year, the Islanders had a 3.5% odds to get it. They had the 10th overall pick, and they somehow, some way, when the first two ping pong balls dropped, it didn't look great at all for them. And somehow their odds shot up when they had the second or the third ping pong ball that dropped, and they shot up to, I believe, one or two after that. But
no, they wound up winning it. They wound up winning the lottery.
Exactly. They ended up winning it and then drafting Matthew Schaefer, which I still think to this day that the NHL screwed the Sharks out from, but that's a different conversation.
Like y'all would have made the playoffs anyway, and if you got in, you would have gotten swept by Colorado like LA did. There you go.
But yeah, what do you think about the NHL draft lottery? And do you think fans should tune in for it tomorrow? For me, I think they should. I think it's outstanding. And like, you never know. Maybe a team like you think your team might not win it, but hey, you never know. Cause like, guess what? The Islanders literally had 3.5% chances last year to get it, and they ended up winning it.
I was going to say even before they changed the format, look at the Dallas Mavericks. They trade away Luka and they somehow with like a 0.5% chance land Cooper Flag in the draft the following season. But I mean, I would agree though that I think especially because the lotteries for every sport, I think that have lotteries. So maybe not baseball, but I think I would think the NBA killed themselves with not doing the actual lottery draw like the NHL does. And, I know if there's been other instances away from last season that, people were scratching their heads, like, Anaheim could have had two potential first round or first number one overall picks in, I think 05, 06 when Crosby went to Pittsburgh. Anaheim could have been number one. Obviously, Bedard goes to Chicago over Anaheim, and the Ducks had the worst record in the entire league. The Rangers beating out the Kings one year for the top pick for Alexis Lafreniere, I think 13 or 14 or 15, I want to say. It's like I think there's more drama with it, but I do think that sadly that Vancouver's going to probably get that top pick because they were absolutely dismal this whole season. Yeah, I could say, well, you never know with the lottery odds, but I think that it's going to be Vancouver, Chicago, probably 1 and 2, depending on the actual odds. But it is though a spectacle because they actually do. I think though, Isaiah, that's been the stigma behind so many draft lotteries in the last several years, if not longer. That well, it's all predetermined. We don't actually know how the process works. I think that the NHL has tried to, in a way, clear the lottery for all the sports that have it to get it back into better limelight because they do it live. They have a representative from the firm that puts it on. If they have like an integrity manager there, then of course they do the actual live draft, of the ping pong balls. So it is a spectacle, and obviously if your team is in the running for the top pick, you're going to be obviously on the edge of your seat. So, well, you're not going to be getting it. So I would just chill out.
Well, I mean, even if we got it, we're trading it for Connor McDavid anyways. But that's a different story for a
You're
different
not.
day.
He's not going to San Jose. He's going to go to Toronto.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, I agree. I loved what the NHL has done with that lottery. And also you forgot one thing, Callan. With the NHL putting the lottery drawing live for all the fans to see, it removes one accusation of it being rigged. Like you can't say that it
Yeah.
got rigged because what are you like? What are you gonna do? Like
And,
put
and that's what's killed the NBA the last several years, if you ask me. Even before all the new utter lunacy of, oh, we have a 3-2-1 rule now for for tanking. Oh, you're going to be in the relegation zone now and blah 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 blah. Like, no, it's not how it works.
yeah, no, I agree. Like the I just think also the like with the NBA, like that Cooper Flag thing last year, like come on, man, like that, like really was it not rigged? Like
Yeah, I mean,
you
even
can't.
you and I, and we never agree, but you and I will agree. Like that seems shady. That it's like a consolation prize that you trade away your franchise superstar to, of all teams, the Lakers. Oh, and we'll give you the number one pick overall to get Cooper Flag. Like, come on,
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
fooling. Like, come on, you guys aren't fooling anybody.
No, no. When they had a 0.5% chance to get it, like, oh yeah, yeah, really. Like, no. Quickly, Callan, before we do sign off for the day, because I do gotta go back to work, but thoughts on Jamal Mosley getting fired by Orlando? For me, easiest decision ever. You blew a 3-1 lead, 22-point lead, lost in game 6. Like, yeah, you had to go. There's no way.
It's tragic because you and I on MI6, we actually, I remember us talking about Jamal getting hired, and we both were like, all you got to do right now is just improve your win total year over year. I think he did a great job with that. But again, though, the Magic have been known to blow 3-1 leads in their franchise history. Looking at you, Doc Rivers, you're not infamous either. And I mean, you had the number one seed on the ropes, though. How do you not close that out? But again, it's kind of like what I've been saying about the Ducks. It's a very young team learning how to win in the playoffs. And obviously, that was my fear with like Orlando or even the Ducks. Okay, you're up 3 games to 1. Can you prove to me you can close out a series? Well, one team did. Hallelujah. The other team sadly didn't do so.
How about my Sixers? No, I'm kidding.
No, you're not even a Sixers fan.
But no, I mean, we had heard like all season long. I don't know if you heard the reports, but all season long there were talks about the culture in Orlando being fractured, Paolo Banchero and the coach not getting along. The coach, like that was honestly like everybody was like saying that the coach is going to get fired. It's just a matter of when, not if. Like, and then I do think, however, Jamal Mosley did save his job like prior to Game 5. Or yeah, when he had a 3-1 lead, if they won, I think he was definitely going to be kept. There was no way you would let go
All
of
it
the
was going
coach.
to hinge on was, could you close out the series?
Exactly.
Simple as that.
I think sadly it's tragic. You're right, because I think he got unfired and then he got himself fired after taking a 3-1 lead, then blowing it in the way that you did. And you know what really sucks also is then you hear rumors that Billy Donovan is the guy that they've been having their eyes on for months. And yeah, like,
Oh,
by the way, did you know that Billy Donovan was once the Magic head coach for a day or two before
I
he
think I remember hearing that story. Yeah.
he reneged on the job. I guess they even had an introductory press conference and then he reneged on the job and went back to Florida. So
Wow.
how funny would it be that he actually becomes the Magic head coach?
That'd be something.
But yeah, one last news to drop on you, Callan. There's been a lot of news today, but Tarek Skubal has been scratched with elbow problems. So
Great.
yikes. Yeah.
Painful start to the year for a lot of teams who've been having injuries. I know it's May, but like, I don't know. It just feels like Isaiah every year that the injury total of this starting there just keeps going up and up and up and up and up.
Yeah, especially pitcher injuries, to be honest. But how about my Phillies, by the way, firing Rob Thompson? Like I said, they needed to. Hallelujah.
Yeah,
And
but
guess
Craig
what?
Stammen wasn't. Yeah, but Craig Stammen wasn't the first guy fired. There's a
Hey,
difference.
I will take the bullet for that because hey, at least Rob Thompson is gone. I've been wanting him to be gone, and Don Mattingly being there. Listen, we needed a experienced manager. Thank you for not exposing me, by the way, on what I texted you about the Phils.
Yeah, you
But
rooted against them
no,
the whole time that Girardi, after Girardi got fired, you rooted against them. You just were saving face.
I'm a loyal Phillies fan from day one, sir.
If you're a loyal fan, you support the team, win, lose, or draw, like I do with the Padres, as I have for 32 years.
Hey, at least we didn't lose 2 out of 3 to Chicago. But anyways,
I think my manager wasn't fired either.
but anyways, if you want to hear more about, Stephen A and Skip reuniting, I'm pretty sure Callan and Nick will be talking about it more on ETB. I don't know when your guys' show is gonna be, but yeah, catch them on ETB. But yeah, it's been a great day, cloudy day in the Bay Area. Hopefully it gets better soon. But Callan, any final word before we sign off for the day?
No, I mean, we'll see where this Skip and Stephen A reunion goes. Again, I'm not really much of the belief it's going to be more than just a one-time thing, maybe every month or every so often, but not every day that they're on air.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's going to be every day. I think it's probably going to be like every Monday after the Cowboys games, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe Friday.
That might actually work better for ratings' sake. Is have those two just either clown the Cowboys like I clown you, or praise them for winning a football game.
When have you ever clowned me? No, don't. You don't need to.
I have been doing it for 6 years, buddy, and you can't find a way to clap back. So there you go.
Anyways, guys, it's been a great show. Tune into the NHL draft lottery. You know damn well I will be tomorrow because we might get Gavin McKenna with Macklin Celebrini, which would be so sweet.
And when you're stuck at your current position and he goes to Vancouver, it's not going to happen.
But anyways, guys,
because then Macklin will jump ship to go to Vancouver when his ELC ends to go home and play for the Canucks to play with McKenna there.
You do realize we're going to offer him an 8-year max extension, right?
Yeah, you're not going to be able to, sadly, because the CBA is changing about length of contracts next season.
But anyways, guys, appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. You guys can catch Callan on Press Row. We'll have more about the Stephen A and Skip topic, probably more on Ian Rappaport re-signing with ESPN, and maybe
we already talked about that last week.
Oh, okay. But yeah, you'll probably hear more about Callan talking about Stephen A and Skip on ESPN coming up this week. But until then, guys, stay safe, stay healthy.
I'll also be clowning this Nimrod right here and Ryan Whitney for saying that Anaheim had no chance beating Edmonton in the first round of the playoffs too.
I'm glad you didn't bring that up until we ended. Dang.
Well, it's because it's going to be fully in depth on Wednesday with you and Ryan Whitney being clowns about the Ducks.
Oh my God. Anyways, guys, it's been a great show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Monday. Hopefully more news drops. It's been a busy Monday, but until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys later.